Hi there everyone, welcome for this new episode of the ESO News. Today I'm going to try to attempt to maybe succeed to summarize the ESO Live episode 8 that has been live the Friday 20 December 2014 and that has been presented by Gina Bruno and Jason Levy wearing those wonderful Christmas sweatshirts. This episode is all about the update 6 and in particular the champion system, a very exciting episode. We are starting with the ESO Fan Creation Showcase with Cj Grebb, Creative Service Manager. Cj Grebb leads the team that make video, oversees screenshots and what's going on the website. He was working as Dark Age of Camelot as art director, and so he knows what he's talking about when he's making the comment about the fan art. If you want to see the fan art, I suggest you to check the Tamriel Chronicle that will be published next week. Time for some question and for some answer. Let me read this fast. 1. Do you plan to add an NPC companion or mercenary we can hire to help quest? Designers are intrigued and interested, but no plan at the moment. We encourage you to play with real-life players. 2. Are you guys actively working on fixing loading screen issues? It's complicated. In highly populated area or graphically intense situations, this tends to happen more to players that play on a lower machine. But not always, so never hesitate to contact the technical support if it happens a lot. Loading screens are put intentionally so the players that load slowly will not continue to run forward and be stuck in some obstacles. 3. Have you identified the reason for lag in PvP? What are you actively doing about it and when will we have a fix for it? Causing lag in Cyrodiil is very complex as it can be caused by several issues. We have been investigating and continue to do so. We have lowered the population cap as a temporary fix, but the solution is a band-aid and it's not the fix. It's not the update 3 with the improved lighting that caused the lag as many players think. Will you add some more specific gear drop like the Helmet Undaunted? We are actually doing it, and here we have a sneak peek on 3 new Monster Undaunted helmet shoulders. 5. What are you doing with the low population bonus in PvP? It takes several days of falling for the low population bonus to activate. Once it does, it lasts for several hours, even if the underpopulated team managed to catch up. It will be adjusted in Update 6. 6. Hireling stories are interesting to follow. Is there any plan to add quests related to those hirelings? This is often requested. The developers like the idea of making hireling NPCs, but there is no announcement concerning this yet. 7. Concerning the justice system. If I see a friend get caught by a guard, will I be able to help an attack and how it will impact my infamy? It's possible to help and attack the guard, but it will probably end poorly. The reason why the devs are making the guard close to invulnerable is to avoid players to stack up to kill them. If you attack a guard, you will most likely die. 8. Regarding the justice system, where there will be powerful badass NPC that will kill you if you try to steal them or kill them? Paul Sage answered to that question. Steal and find out. 9. Can you confirm that there will be veteran rank 10 receipe with the provisioning update, or veteran 5 receipe is still the maximum level? This is confirmed and there is a couple of examples. 10. Regarding stealth when the justice systems goes live, who can see or can't see a stealth character? NPC can't see you, but a player from your alliance can. 11. Will there be ever something cooler than a pet for the loyalty reward? There will be different things than pets, but it's a secret. 12. Will there be an official survey system to speak about issues? Forums serve this purpose already. Community managers and developers check them constantly. We have made many changes in the games and on the show based on feedback. For technical issues, use the bug report in game. 13. Could you make treasure chest more useful? We will have a new skill with the champion system, Treasure Hunter, to get better loot from treasure's chest. 14. Will you adding a quest completed log, maybe a journal where player can add comments and see their progress? No plans for it for now, but we thought about it. 15. Will the character expression be fixed again, and if the expression stick on the face after have used an emote? This is going to be fixed, no ETA for now. 16. Now that Craglorn is complete, what's next as PvE zone? Rodgar. 17. Will AoE cap be removed soon or at least extended? This will be changed in update 6. AoE will be hitting up to 60 targets, but there will be a dismissing return. 100% for the 6 first targets, 60% for the next 24 targets, and 55% for the last 30 targets. In the Live at ZOS segment this week we had as guest Andrew Frederiksen, which is one of the producers currently working on the console release. Before that he was working with different teams like the Dungeon team, the content team, etc. He started as English teacher in high school, didn't like it, wanted to make game, and moved to California to start as a tester and then work his way up to producer, the job he wanted to do in the first place. The life of a producer is a lot of Excel spreadsheet, a lot of email to read, and a lot of meeting to attend. It's a big organization, make schedule and everything work on. It's the person that will deal with everyone separately and make sure that everything is going smooth and working as intended. It's also the person that prioritizes which project goes first, this one. It's a bit like playing Tetris. What Andrew Frederiksen prefers to do as a producer is work with different people from different countries as well, and to see every little part separately that are put together and that work to make something really great. For the console news, I unfortunately have not much news to share because it involves a lot of people, there's a lot of work to do, but he said that in a few months we will have more news about this. Also, headmatch. The most important part of the show was, of course, the presentation of Eric Robel and Maria Aliprando concerning the gameplay change and the champion system that will be implemented in Update 6. We had a ton of information and it will be very hard for me to summarize this. There is a very good article on Tamriel Foundry written by Atropos that I suggest you to read if you're interested. It's almost word by word the translation of what has been said during the show, just removing the little funny comments in between. So go read that. Let's start with Eric Robel explanation concerning the AoE cap. At the moment what's happening is that the AoE cap is at 6%, which encourages players in Cyrodiil to stack up in small concentrated little Zerg, so you're sure that there's only 6% that will be damaged by the AoE, and this is one of the reasons that causes lag in Cyrodiil. So to spread the AoE to 60% will encourage players to spread out more, and it will hopefully improve the performance in Cyrodiil. Another big change coming in Update 6 is the ultimate regeneration. For now, when you block, you dodge, you cast your spells, you do damage, you generate ultimate. And it's not even from one player to another. A tank character, for instance, will generate less ultimate than a DPS that have stacked a lot of crit on his gear. You also see those healers that are spamming Healing Spring before an encounter to be sure that their ultimate is ready before to go into the fight, which is kinda a little bit cheating. Anyway, this situation is confusing, and for the players and for the developers that have difficulties to track what's going on, if it's working as intended or if it's buggy. So there is change. From now, in Update 6, when you will land a heavy attack or light attack, you will have a buff. And this buff will allow you to generate ultimate. If you are a healer, you can of course also land an attack, but it's not needed. You just need to heal someone that has this buff to gain the buff yourself. So this ensures that healers cannot heal out of combat and generate ultimates. This is supposed to help players to be more fair and equal between a tanky character, a healing or a DPS, and to not encourage players to stack up critical strike rating to generate more ultimate. The buff and debuff is also changed for the update 6, and this is due to the removal of the soft cap. For the people that doesn't know, the soft cap is short explanation. You can gather bonuses for, let's say, your magicka regeneration via different sources. It can be armor, threats, stone, food, and also abilities buff. The soft cap is a limit. If you cross it, you will not beneficiate anymore for any bonus. This encourages players to get another bonus in a different section, like for instance spell resistance. With the removal of the soft cap, players now can stack up as much magicka regeneration as they want, including, in theory, the abilities. So a tank will be encouraged to stack up as much or more buff abilities as possible, and the developers don't want that. They want to encourage players to have different builds, to have a lot of choice, meaningful choice, and a lot of freedom. So to avoid this kind of situation, the buffs will now have either a major buff, which will bring you a lot of bonus, like 100, and a minor buff that will bring you less bonus, like 25. You can have at once only one major buff and one minor buff. So this will encourage players to diversify their build and to have a real good choice in what they want to get. Also remember that some abilities have a major buff, but they have a second ability. When Maria Alipranda started to speak about the champion system, she reminded us why the change has been made. Developers and players were both unhappy about the progression system made by the veteran rank. It felt a bit blunt, unexciting, and boring and grindy. So the champion system is supposed to bring the possibility to really progress your character in the direction you want, to have meaningful choice, to have exciting change and cool passive and abilities that you can unlock. How does the champion system work? Well, let's imagine you just hit max level. Ding! Congratulations, you unlock 30 champion points that are linked to your account. So that means that those 30 points can be used by each of your characters, even a level 1 alt that you just created. Each of your character will have 30 points to invest in their own constellation tree. How do you earn the points? For that you need to be veteran level or max level and to do any activities that will bring you experience. The developers are currently rebalancing all experience gain via dungeons, PvP, questing to be sure that every way are even and that you will not have a better activity to do to gain your champion points. So the veteran players that are freaking out because they have done all the quests of the game, just calm down, it's okay, just play the game like you play it usually. You will gain champion points and you can progress that way. The champion point will be invested in the constellation tree. You will need to follow the order of the sky, so first the warrior, then the thief, then the mage, then again the warrior. You cannot invest your points completely and exclusively into one single constellation. This is done so players will be encouraged to have more meaningful choice, more freedom, and they will not be enclosed into a particular constellation that is related to their role. The first point you place in a star will be very valuable. So the first point you put will be 1% bonus. The second point you place will be 0.9%, and it will decrease more and more, which means that the first point you place are very valuable in comparison to the next point you will place into the same star. This is done for two reasons. First, to be sure that there is not a too huge gap between a very advanced player and less advanced player. The second is once more to allow and encourage players to have variety, to have the possibility to place some point into this and some point into that, and to not feel forced to put everything into one single star to optimize it. Every time you are putting points into a skill line, it will unlock more passive, like in Skyrim basically. So you will have a cap at 20, at 40, at 60, at 100. 100 is the maximum point that you can place into a single constellation. The constellation sky is divided in 3 major signs and 9 minor constellations. Let's start with the warrior, which is the constellation related to the health and the protection. Each of the small signs have their own team related to protection. For instance, lady, you will have resistance spells, while the steed will have protection spells. The thief is related to stamina and to utility. So the tower will be all about reduced cost, the lover about regeneration, and the shadow is all about evasions, better stealth, etc. The mage is all about offense and is related to magicka. But the offense are not exclusively spell related. So the astronaut, for instance, is the master of arm. Everything related to weapon will be in that constellation. The ritual is all about physical damage, while the apprentice is all about spell damage, like spell penetration, etc. So this was a very short summary about what has been said during the show concerning the champion system. It was a very long interview with a lot of information, but even with so much information, this path is so huge that everyone is still wondering things. There is stuff that are unclear. For instance, at the moment a big debate on the forum is whether or not the veteran player will receive a compensation for the experience they have gained previously the champion system implementation. And they are not really happy about that. So for that I do not have any official answer. No one have given an official answer. But I need to remind you that this is phase 3 of the system. The phase 3 concern the champion system interface, the start of gaining champion points, and the possibility to use those points into the constellation tree and all the related change that include the experience gain change, the combat change, the build change, the abilities change. It's amazingly big. But the two systems overlap each other for a time. So the veteran players will be in the same times veteran players and have champion points. The veterans rank will only be removed in phase 4, and I personally believe that players will be compensated for the experience that had been tracked so far. It has been said several times. In phase 4, not in phase 3, because if a veteran player receives the equivalent of his experience in champion point during the phase 3, it will be super imbalanced, because at the same time is a veteran player with better gear, access to bigger, higher level instances and such. He will have more champion points. It's not really fair. So I believe that in phase 3 everyone will start equal the system, which gives the developers a good opportunity to track how it's working and if it's working as they want it. And in phase 4 it will be the finish, and then only the players will be compensated. But it's not finished. Eric Rubel also shared with us his plan to change all abilities in the game. Every abilities and spell have been checked one by one and reworked, retweaked. Sometimes they have been completely changed and replaced by a totally different spell. This to be sure that everything was interesting and could be a good spell to put in a build, so to allow more diversity, more balance overall in the game. Something very interesting had been done also for stamina user. 3 spells by class will now be have a morph that you can use to change their cost in stamina instead of magicka. So that's a great change. The synergies also have been reworked, the radius had been decreased, so the players that want to activate it will actually need to make this decision instead of seeing suddenly press X popping on the screen, so it makes also a more meaningful and more thoughtful combat. Some synergy also have been changed completely. 4 new spells had been added to the Cyrodiil or the PvP skill line. It's Magicka Detonation, which secures your place on a player, and 6 seconds later it will explode, so it will encourage players to spread out more and to be smart. Vigor, it's a stamina healing spell, which is very interesting. Revealing Flare, it's something that you cast and that will reveal the stealth people, but those people can still dodge it because it's kind of a long channel spell. And Guard, which is a shield you place on yourself that will intercept all projectile, protecting your group, but you can combine it also with a reflective shield, so go back and forth. It's kind of interesting. If you want more explanation about the spells, I suggest you to read this post on the Tamriel Foundry written by Atropos. The show had been concluded by a Q&A specifically for the gameplay and the champion system. I'm not making the resume here because I have used some of the information in what I've just said. If you want to read all the questions one by one, then again, go on Tamriel Foundry and check this post. Everything is written down. There is several goodies that had been given, a little bit more than usual because it's a holiday show. So a little Nord, a Metcrab plushie, a poster books, 5 piglets pet and 1 metal mug had been given away to the viewers. Voilà, it's all for today. It's the first time I'm making a summary of the ESOLIVE. Please tell me if it was interesting, if it was good, if you enjoyed it, so I know if I continue to make those or if it's completely pointless. I wish you very happy holidays, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I hope you will spend great time with your family and your loved one, and my best wish for the next year. Bye bye everyone.